What's going on, folks? So I read Six of Crows here in 2025. This is almost the 10-year anniversary since that book came out. A little bit about me. I'm a writer. I've decided to add this book to my reading list because I'm shopping a couple different properties to agents, right? And so agents kept saying, like, Six of Crows, I'm looking for the next one. Like, this book is so good. And I'm like, dang, okay. Did a little research. People love this book. I'm like, okay. Added it to my reading list, read the entire thing, and I think it deserved for me to read it. Like, it was a good book overall. But I had a couple of gripes, and I'm just interested to see if anybody else, had this perspective. So again, a little bit about me. I'm trying to learn. I'm reading these books and I'm trying to learn. I'm building my reading list as a writer, because I want to see what I can take and glean from each of these properties. And I know if I keep doing this for a couple of years, I'm gonna be a way better writer just from having read like good stuff. So, all right, I sat down and read it. So what are my takeaways? I'm gonna start with my positives, and then I'll go into the parts that gave me a little bit of trouble. Okay, so the positives, right off the bat, I realized that Leigh Bardugo is a really good writer. So like every line, I'm like, this is just so well constructed. The balance between action, what's going on in their heads, dialogue, the balance was just it was a clinic. Honestly, it was a clinic. The world building, it was a clinic. It was all mixed in perfectly. Number two was the dialogue. I was like, this is dang good dialogue. And here's why. She doesn't add a ton of dialogue tags in between just to keep having to orient you, and she doesn't have to like tell you how they said something in order for you to understand that they're being sarcastic or they're being, however they're saying the lines. The lines spoke for themselves because that's how well written they were, and because she didn't have to add all that stuff, the dialogue flows. It's bam, it's just kind of on the page, and it flows, and that is just like, as far as fundamentals, that's how you write dialogue really, really well. So I was taking notes, no joke, taking notes about those different components of this. I was like, this is good, I need to work on this is really good. I think setup was really, really good as well. And so I had to give it props for that first third of the book. I mean, I read it in no time. I'm intrigued. There are all these questions that got asked. They're building the team, and you're seeing, it's a heist book, and so you're seeing them build a team. You're seeing how these characters interact. Some of them may have power, some of them may not. I mean, you don't really know in certain cases, and so that's intriguing. It's making me ask all these questions, and that kind of pushed me through the story. Main protagonist, really cool. He has a couple really good scenes early on where you're like, yo, this kid is kind of like a mastermind, and that was just very authentic, and I was all in. So setup, really, really good. The magic system setup's really good too. And these are minor spoilers, but you've got like a kind of a healer character who gets supercharged by some drug, and it gets supercharged into mind control. She mind controls a bunch of dudes. She dies. A bunch of different stuff happens, and the characters that she mind controlled, they all die, and it's chilling because she told them to wait, and she never released them, and so they just wait until they die. They can't eat, they can't do anything else, and so they're just dropping like flies, and that's chilling and unique. And I was like, oh my gosh, and it bought me a ton of investment because it was so realistic, and it was something I hadn't thought about before. So I was like, man, this is really well done. So those are my positives. Now I'm going to switch to a couple of my critiques, and I'm really interested to see what you think. Look, I'm a nice guy. Like, I'm teachable, and I think there's more things that I can even learn from this property. So, like, if you disagree with me, or if you do agree with me, like, throw a comment in there, and let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm going to get to some of the things that gave me a little bit of a problem, and here's the reason I'm grading this book so hard. Am I a grumpy old man? Maybe a little bit. So that's a part of it, right? But I'm also a writer trying to break in, right? And I know how I have to critique myself. I have to be very harsh for myself to be able to potentially break in, because I have to stand out. And that's just really hard to do with so many good authors out there and so much just stuff that these agents are going through. So for me, I feel like it kind of falls apart in the third act. And I actually saw an interview with Leigh Bardugo where she says, like, she wrote herself into a corner, and she's thinking through, like, how can I get my people out of this? Now that's a good opportunity, because if you can think of a creative way to get the team out of this situation that's gotten crazy, then what you're doing is you're pushing your characters and you're seeing them emerge, and that's a great thing. But basically, I think she built up Kaz as a genius. I think she built up this impenetrable fortress as this like crazy place, and then you see the plan. You're like, okay, this is cool. I'm in it, and then everything kind of falls apart. Which that's not big spoilers, because that's kind of supposed to happen in a heist. Something's supposed to go wrong, right? Things start to go wrong, and I'm waiting for Kat, and they're getting backed into a corner, and I'm like, this is getting good. How are they going to get out of it? And basically, I think she was so stuck. I don't think there was a good way to get out. And so they basically blast their way out with a tank, and it works, and they all get out. And one of the other characters takes the drug, and she goes into super mind control mode. She's got the same powers as that girl from before, and from that point on, she's going to be able to get him out of it. So that kind of took the tension away from me, and then no one pays a penalty. They all make it out. And so at that point, the ending is really good. She throws some really interesting stuff into the end, sets up the next book really well. But at that point, I think in the third act, I'm like, it felt too convenient, and I have to see people pay the price for failure and for getting stuck. And either that, or I need to see Kaz, the main character, make a genius move to get them out of it. And so for me, that's where I was like, man, I got to take away some points. And it's not just because I'm a jerk. It's because I'm trying to see what I should replicate and what I should not replicate. And so yeah, that was a little bit tough for me, and I feel like I would be graded pretty dang harsh for that. Final summary: I think it's a great book. I think it's written so well on a line level that it's a good read. I think the ending just like really took a lot out of it for me. I think it would have been better if Nina would have died, and like if a couple of the characters would have died through this heist, just as a penalty for things going wrong. Or if Kaz would have been such a genius, and this would probably be my favorite option, if Kaz was such a genius, he had predicted something and found out a way to get them out of it, rather than them just jumping in a tank and just blasting out, and this army having no answer for that. And so bottom line, I think it's a good book. I'd have to give it like a 3 out of 5. That's just where I'm at. But a lot of people love this property. It's obviously got a lot of positives. So you tell me, like, what did you love about this book? Was it, and some of the things that you liked, did those things kind of carry it just that much more for you? That's interesting to me as a writer to hear. So I really do want to have a dialogue here and hear like what you loved and if you noticed some of the same things I noticed. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, maybe it bothered you, maybe it didn't, maybe there was these other things that you liked so much that it made up for that. And so I'm really curious to hear. I think, like I said, I think there's more that I can learn from this book if I can get a little interaction from you. So hey, like, subscribe, throw in some comments. I'd love to have a dialogue with you, and I hope you have an awesome day.